Every year, esports broadcasts become more and more of a spectacle. Events like the Fortnite World Championships and the International have these amazing productions, break viewership records, and offer these incredible prize pools. And almost like clockwork, every single time FGC Twitter's like, why aren't we there and what's it going to take to get there? Well, the answer is money. Thanks everyone for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. Catch you next week. Just kidding on that one, but there is more elements that people want incorporated into FGC broadcasts. They want stats and player matchups and history. They want analysis of what's been going on in the tournament and the storylines going on. And they want video packages so you can get a better connection to the players and know who they are, know their journey to the tournament. So what I'm here to talk about is some of the challenges incorporating these elements into a broadcast and some possible solutions. So probably the most important thing for any broadcast is telling a story. So when you see stats that show that one player is undefeated, you kind of wonder if they're going to keep that streak going or if this opponent's going to be the one to finally take them down and maybe you want to root for them. So stats that tell you players' histories and their tendencies is a great way to engage audiences. So it's one thing knowing about Umi Shoryu's, but it's another thing knowing that an opponent makes a comeback 90% of the time in the last 20 seconds of the round. So one of the big problems is that at fighting game tournaments, pretty much all the games are played offline. They're really only put online to like touchdown to unlock DLC. And the thing is when they're played offline, that means in order to get stats, you need someone to physically take them down. And right now they're only really done for top 8s. So if you want to cover more matches, you need more staff, which gets really expensive really quickly. So what can be done about this? So basically you would need a fighting game that tracks what happens during the game and basically has an API that developers can access to pull all that data and basically transform it into stats that you can present on stream. So pretty much this means that you would need to play matches on machines that are connected to the internet and online at all the time. And also you would need players to be able to log into their profiles so that you could get data for specific players. And I think this last part's pretty difficult because at least for consoles, it's really hard to be logged into multiple profiles at the same time. And even if you could do that, imagine having someone log in using their stick. It would take match setup time so much longer to do. So I think the best way to do this would be for the game to be played on PC. That way multiple profiles wouldn't be as big of an issue. And what you would want is a game that also has like a mobile app connected to it. So that way when you're in the game and you do your button checks, to log into your profile, you just click something, it pops up a code, and you enter that on your phone, which then touchdowns and logs you in with your profile right away. This would speed it up and make it a lot faster to connect profiles to random machines. I think this one would be super useful for the right fighting game that's in development because it's really important to be able to track players' progress throughout tournaments and matches. So when I was editing this video, I felt like I made an oversight when it came to stats in the FGC, especially in regards to Street Fighter V and the Capcom Pro Tour. So Glenn, or the Game Twalk, hopefully I pronounced that properly, has been doing stats for the FGC for as long as I know, and he actually created this really useful tool for the CPT commentators. If you go to his site here, thegametwalk.com CPT. So as you can see here, this is a very straightforward site, no flashy gimmicks or anything like that or needing to sign up. But it's got this handy tool here for Capcom Pro Tour commentators. So you can choose a couple players and see their matchup history. So I'm going to choose 801 Strider and Alex Myers. You can see the matches, who has a winning record, stuff like that. So it's a pretty handy tool if you're trying to tell a storyline, you know, especially if you have semifinals or a top 8 coming up. You can kind of do some prep work before it. And this is really handy for just making the overall broadcast better. And you know what? If you really want to support him, buy his book. It's on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description. But yeah, give Glenn a helping hand, and look, if you have Kindle Unlimited, you get it for free. Anyway, again, shout outs to Glenn, aka the Game Twalk. I don't know if that was correct. Maybe it's the Game It okay, who knows? But yeah, just a little extra thing in terms of stats. Analysts have been part of FGC broadcasts for a while. You've seen them at E-League and Capcom Cup, but probably most notably has been the Jump Off broadcast at EVO. So if you don't know what the Jump Off is, it's basically a collection of commentators and they take a look at high profile matches from all the different streams going on, so they don't just focus on one game for a specific period of time. So analyst desks are again really helpful for building the storyline for the tournament, so they can explain a player's path to top 8 or they can take a look at specific moments in matches, like explain why this read worked or why this option select worked. And even commentators' own personal content, like on their streams, a lot of them, they just go look at matches from like top 8 from the past tournament, or even now it's pretty popular to actually restream a tournament, but this is usually done for different languages. So the question is, why aren't these happening more often at tournaments? So the main problem is manpower. The professional commentators are usually spread pretty thin over multiple games, or they're only brought out to do a specific pro tour and cover that game. But I think I have 2 possible solutions. So the first is, I think, make the analyst desk kind of like a community endeavor. So basically make this something for up and coming commentators that are looking to become professional or gain exposure. So basically group them together and then put them on a popular channel like Level Up or Team Spooky, and then have them look at clips and matches from throughout the tournament. Basically do a similar jump off format, but it's basically there to develop new talent. So my other recommendation might be a bit more controversial, but I think maybe we need to stop streaming so many pool play matches. Because let's be honest, on day 1, the early pool play matches, it's usually pretty rough. And after a game's been out for a while, it's even less interesting to look at these matches. At least when it's early on, there can be some weird tactics used. So what I think is, instead of starting as soon as matches are ready, maybe start the broadcast a bit later in the day, and then start with some good matches from pool play and kind of recap the path of people at the tournament, hype matches, cool things that have happened. And that way you go straight into quarterfinals or semifinals, and there's even higher quality matches you can talk about, and people have a context, they know what's going on, they know if there was a blow up or there's a surprise entrant or someone that's made it far that's never made it that far before. So boxing and MMA have shown that a great way to sell a fight is with video packages, like the training or lead up or the press conferences. Like even in the WWE, like the old video packages to like WrestleMania, The Rock and Austin still give me chills, and Limp Bizkit, you know? So esports has also gotten really good in this regard. Like what was once really cringy and meme-worthy has now become great videos that show off a player's personality or even really help you develop a connection to the player. This is one of the saddest things about FGC tournaments, is I think fighting game players have so much personality, but so many few opportunities to showcase it at the tournament. And I think the main problem is that it's always an open bracket, so you can't really plan ahead. Players usually qualify at the end of the day, they're sleepy, they're tired, they want to get rest to prepare for the next day, so you don't have time to film them and interview them. It's quite a challenge. So this one really needs more money. You basically need to hire an additional crew that works on top of the stream production crew. So for this section, I'm going to talk about some ways that the FGC can possibly monetize itself at tournaments. So the first thing is, I really think FGC events need to incorporate subscriptions into the broadcast better. Now, I'm not saying that commentators need to give a shout out to everyone who subscribed after a match. It's something simple, like maybe make specific emoticons or emojis or sub badges for events, like Evo kind of does this, or do things like at the end of the broadcast or maybe during ad breaks, you know, display people who have subscribed, kind of give them like a thank you and, you know, count them as a producer or something. So I think things like compendiums and event packages need to be incorporated as well. Now, I understand this would be a huge undertaking for tournament organizers, but there are some sites that are kind of building this infrastructure for them. But let's say I bought a package and I couldn't attend an event, but I got a t-shirt from the event, maybe a mug, and maybe I got the ability to say a portion of my funds goes out to bring in this player or increasing the pot or doing something or including some kind of production element. So I think events should also send out sponsorship decks to video equipment manufacturers like Atomos, Sony, Canon, Panasonic, whatever, and basically ask for a couple things. Like, of course, ask for money if possible, but also ask for hardware sponsorship. Say like, hey, the stream will look amazing because we're using Canon cameras, or we're gonna create all the event videos. And you always see them send equipment out to influencers to do like vlogs or reviews, and imagine these amazing looking videos with players and it all says shot by Sony. And I mean, the thing is that most of us are already using this kind of equipment, so it'll definitely be used well, but I think this is definitely a great way to get things that'll improve the broadcast, improve the stream, give more video content, and hopefully get more money for event organizers. So I pass the question on to you, the viewers. What kind of production quality improvements would you like to see in FGC streams? And are you fine with more commercials, or do you just want to see more matches even if they're 360p, 30 FPS? And how do you think the FGC can get better at monetization? And even with all this esports talk, I think it's still really important that you support your locals. And if you can't go to them, support the local streams. So with having said that, make sure to check out BG Callisto on Twitch. He covers Chicago or the Midwest scene. Check out Playbook TV. They cover the Philippines. Check out Spirit Zero. They cover Korea. Thanks again for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more videos. Somewhere floating around here will be a playlist of more of my FGC videos. And catch y'all next time.